Welcome to Ladies Group Chat, where the Knicks, reality TV, and internet nonsense all get receipts. If you needed proof that sports, celebrity culture, and capitalism are all one giant chaotic group chat, now Madison Square Garden handled that for us. Also, Love Island voting has become the stock market for people with opinions and Wi-Fi. The Knicks made the finals feel like a cultural event, not just a basketball event, and you could feel it in who was suddenly orbiting the Garden. Taylor Swift, Kylie Jenner, Timothée Chalamet, Jay-Z, Larry David, Spike Lee, everybody was there, and that kind of celebrity pile-on changes the whole energy in the room. It also creates instant FOMO, because now the game is competing with itself. Are we watching basketball, or are we watching the world's chicest panic attack? And for actual long-time Knicks fans, this run hit deep because this team came in on a 12-game winning streak and then gave people that insane 29-point comeback in Game 4. That's the kind of game that rewires your nervous system, especially if you lived through those franchise dark ages like the 17-win season. Then, OG Anunoby drops 31 on 15 shots, and suddenly fan mythology starts moving fast. One huge night, and people are already talking statue language, which is exactly how sports brain works, and honestly, I respect it. Now, for the part that makes everybody homicidal in a very legal, non-actionable way, ticket prices. Average playoff ticket prices reportedly hit $7,600, with some bad-view 200-section seats around $5,000, and courtside rumors flying anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, even up to $100,000 at the peak. That's not going to a game. That's putting your mortgage in athleisure and sending it to Midtown. And fans are saying the whole ticket ecosystem feels rigged anyway, with bots and scammers grabbing face-value seats, people getting hit with 24-hour bans for refreshing too hard, and then being pushed into resale for $6,000 and up. The ugliest part is the access question, because a lot of long-time fans feel like the best seats aren't even really for them anymore. They're for celebrities, corporate guests, influencers, whoever helps the branding machine, while actual season ticket people get frozen out of the most visible part of their own team's biggest moment. Then you add officiating drama, and it gets even messier. Hosts were pointing to a free throw gap where the Knicks got 8 attempts and the opponent got 24, and framing that as game-shaping, not just annoying. And once you're already mad, the ad revenue theory hits like catnip. If longer series mean hundreds of millions in extra money, people are absolutely going to wonder whether anybody really wants a sweep. Is that a fun thought? No. Is it the exact kind of thought playoff basketball creates completely? Outside the arena, there was another layer of absurdity, with the huge security perimeter tied to former President Trump being there. Local bars and restaurants near MSG reportedly lost as much as 60% of expected revenue during a massive event that should have been a goldmine for them. So the neighborhood gets the spectacle, the taxpayer cost, and the lockdown vibe, but not the usual watch party spillover that actually keeps those businesses alive. Brutal trade-off. Elsewhere, in our deeply unserious but somehow very consequential culture economy, Tom Brady has a coconut water brand called Good Nut. Good Nut. I'm sorry, that name already sounds focus grouped by people who lost a dare. It has original chocolate and sparkling flavors, and even with the mockery, forecasts still say it could hit $11 million in sales by 2030, because of course celebrity wellness products never die, they just rebrand beige. Taylor Swift kept the marketing machine humming too, between a Toy Story song release and outfit chatter that had people spinning wedding rumors and bridal hints around the Garden. And then you have the bigger celebrity double-standard conversations, like Ariana Grande getting hammered over relationships in one lane while body commentary exposes how differently thinness and weight get treated in public. Meanwhile, Selena Gomez posts something cryptic. Elmo sends a neutral NBA tweet, and somehow even that becomes identity warfare. Nobody can simply post anymore. Everything is a referendum. Love Island continues to be one of the most unwell social experiments on television, mostly because the audience has real power. Those pure numerical app votes and recouplings make people feel like their opinion actually moves the plot, which is why glitches or extended voting windows become national emergencies for people who own ring lights. The show still gets heat for the ugly stuff too. Humiliation challenges, misogynistic editing, fake apologies, emotional affairs turned into ratings bait, and the whole machine squeezing spin-offs out of people's worst moments. But the fandom is so locked in that people are now reading public sentiment like traders, including polymarket odds, shifting in real time based on who's up, who's cursed, and who might end up a podcast guest. And despite all the chaos, breakout favorites still matter. People are loving Sol's confidence, especially as a bold contestant with real presence. And sincere is getting rewarded for seeming actually sincere, which on reality TV is basically a supernatural skill. There was also a smart little media point here. Clips get the clicks, but they flatten everything. A bite-sized viral moment can make a conversation look insane, shallow, or mean when the full context was thoughtful, messy, or actually useful. That's why niche podcasts still matter. A purpose-built show can hold a real conversation, like the example of Carl Radke hosting Joshua Bassett for a raw addiction confession that probably doesn't land the same in a chopped-up social clip. And that whole hunger for context connects to this broader millennial midlife mood where people in their 30s and 40s are rethinking everything. Jobs, cities, partners, hustle culture, all of it. Wages feel stuck, costs keep climbing. AI is hovering over half the workforce like an unpaid intern with bad vibes, and a lot of people are quietly revolting against the girl boss era. So the replacements are low-tech and kind of charming. Running, gardening, mahjong, fostering dogs, sober curious living, Peloton phases, little rituals that make life feel owned again. Even the relocation talk fits that. Moving back from LA to New York for family, age peers, and stimulation can make emotional sense even when the rent makes no mathematical sense. On the relationship front, one useful distinction was around relationship OCD, where intrusive repetitive doubts about your partner aren't just normal cold feet and need targeted treatment like ERP therapy, not generic over-talking it to death. Then there were the plain old red flags that absolutely deserve a conversation. Someone who's never had a relationship over 6 months, a boyfriend assuming you'll change your surname without discussion, excluding a long-term partner from plus ones, or an adult still sharing a parent's main bank account. That last one especially is less cute family closeness and more please open your own checking account, babe. There was also a really grounded thread on fertility and pregnancy, including the idea that pausing trying for a baby on purpose can be empowering, not failure. Because the process can get obsessive fast with ovulation tracking, constant testing, and the anxiety spiral between appointments, especially in early pregnancy before movement gives any reassurance. And yes, morning sickness being called morning sickness remains one of the great branding lies. People are out here nauseous all day. Wedding culture got its own reality check too, because bridesmaids and guests are being asked to fund entire mini-economies now with trips, outfits, travel, and endless extras. No wonder contracts spelling out guest expenses are becoming a thing, even if that also feels like receiving an invoice disguised as romance. A few lighter product notes were actually interesting. GoPuff is using Grok AI to study what you buy and recommend snack brands and flavors you might like, which is either convenient or deeply intimate behavior from a delivery app. The Kitchen Sink recipe app sounds genuinely useful, especially for anxious cooks, because it can build recipes from what you already have, offer basic, classic, or creative versions, and even import recipes from Instagram, blogs, or TikTok. Then there's the broader access and upgrade lane with a rotating luxury closet service, Target getting Branch Basics cleaners, and Zaybiotics selling a GMO probiotic for hangover help. We really will optimize anything except our screen time. I also have to mention the emotional power of hobbies, because losing a multi-year sourdough starter being compared to losing a pet makes total sense to me. That is not flower, that is lineage. And on the darker side, there were legal stories that hit hard, including Karen Reed suing a Massachusetts police force over alleged corruption, rape, and cover-up after being implicated in a murder case. Plus a crash case where black box vehicle data showed acceleration without braking in a 100-mile-per-hour wreck, which is a stark reminder that modern forensics can tell a story even when motive is muddy. Very quick sports coda, Nelly Korda won her first major at the US Women's Open and got a record payout after a dramatic finish, and a fan throwing eggs at Victor Wembanyama after a game is fully deranged behavior. We've lost the plot with fan conduct. That's the chat for today. Thanks for hanging with Ladies Group Chat, where the takes are fast and the group text energy is permanent. Go hydrate, mute a resale app, and I'll see you next time. This episode was generated by Podkey. Create your own at podkey.fm.